I'm actually a bit nervous about this. G'day everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be starting the big job of taking out the windows in the bus. I've been a bit nervous about doing this because I'm worried I'm going to break the glass. Hopefully that won't happen if I'm careful and just take things steady. You're probably wondering why on earth I want to take the windows out in the first place, and there's a couple of reasons for that. The main one being that I'm trying to get the bus watertight. It does have a few leaks. And if you look at the windows, it's pretty obvious that all of the rubber seals are really old and deteriorating. They're coming away from the window frame. So I want to replace all the rubber seals around the windows. I want to clean up the frame, just make sure there's no dirt or mud or anything else in there that might be contributing to leaks. So that's the main reason. But also there are a few windows that I'm going to be taking out completely and replacing with aluminium composite panel. Mostly because they're in parts of the bus that are going to have cupboards and a fridge and other things built in front of them. You're not going to be able to see out of those windows anyway, and if down the track one of them was to break, it'd be a lot harder to get to the broken glass and stuff if it fell inside the bus behind built-in cupboards and things. So that's one reason. Another reason is that if it's windows that I don't need or that won't be used, the glass is actually quite heavy. So taking out the glass and replacing it with aluminium composite panel, which is a lot lighter, actually helps to lower the overall weight. So there's a few reasons why I'm going to be taking out the windows, and it's going to be a big job because there's a lot of them. And I am going to be taking it steady, but we'll get it started today and hopefully get at least one window out and see what we're dealing with. Got my sidekick here today, although she's not really being much help, but she's in here out of trouble. So I'll just show you what I'm planning. All of the windows at the front will be staying. I'll just be taking them out, replacing the seals and putting them back in as they are. But as we come towards the back of the bus, these are the windows that I'm actually going to be taking out. So this window here and the one on the opposite side, the panel that's closest to the front of the bus I'm actually going to be keeping as glass, but for each of these windows I'm going to be replacing the back half with aluminium composite panel, because on this side of the bus the fridge is going to be going here in front of this window, and on the other side there's going to be an electrical cupboard, so you won't actually be able to see out of these windows anyway. So I plan to replace this panel and this one here with aluminium composite panel, and then all of these windows in the back of the bus, so these two here and these two here, I'm actually going to be removing completely and putting aluminium composite panel over the gap there. I'm going to be leaving this one in the door because I'll still be able to see out of that. In fact, when everything's built in, I think I'll still be able to see through that from the driver's seat with the rear view mirror. So I'm going to be keeping this window as it is, this little one here, and the two on the side, and this one at the back I'm going to be completely removing. Meanwhile, Pepper's decided that she's going to help me by getting the remainder of the glue off the frame. Not sure that's going to be good for your stomach, puppy. So I thought I'd start with this window, which is towards the back of the bus, and it's the one where neither of these panels slide open. And the reason I've chosen this one to start with is because at the moment I plan to just block off the back half with the aluminium panel, but it wouldn't wreck my layout if I actually blocked the whole window. So I'm thinking I'll start with this one because if I muck it up and break the window, it's not going to be such a disaster. So this is going to be my practice window, and hopefully if I work out how to do it on this one, I'll be able to get the rest of them out without too much trouble. So basically, in order to remove the window, the first thing I need to do is just take off this pinch weld. That's basically just the interior trim. It's not serving any real purpose to hold the window in. It's just basically to make the inside of the window look a bit neater. You can see it's actually missing like the last little clip that's supposed to just cover that gap, so it actually looks pretty crappy anyway. I don't think I'll be putting it back on. But anyway, so I'll take that off first, and then once that's off, you'll be able to see there's 6 little clips holding the window frame onto the frame of the bus. So I'll need to pry them off. And then once the clips are off, the only thing holding the window frame onto the bus is the mastic, which is like black, sticky, kind of like glue that never really hardens or goes dry. It's the stuff that they use to put windscreens on cars and that kind of thing. So that will be all around the window frame, and I'll actually have to cut through that with a Stanley knife and then push the window out. So that's the plan. Let's get started. So you actually need a little bit of force, or at least I needed a little bit of force to pull that up. Once you get it started, it's pretty easy to keep pulling it. Just pull it off. You can now see the clips that are holding the window on. So there's 3 on the bottom and then there's 3 on the top. Some of these actually look a little bit rusty, so that's a bit of a worry. So I'm just using a little screwdriver to just gently pry these clips up. So that's what the clips look like. So there's a bit of rust on some of them. They still look fairly intact though. And if you have a look on the frame, there's obviously a bit of rust on the frame underneath where the clip is, but it's not too bad. It's just surface rust, so I think it'll just need a little bit of cleaning up, and I'll paint some rust proofing stuff over that before I put the windows back in, and I think that should clean up okay. There's another one there. That's not too bad. And you can see here now the black mastic I was talking about. See, that's really sticky stuff. So that's all in under the frame here now. Running down, if I can show you where it is here. You can actually see it here. So it's running in between where the window frame attaches to the bus. So I need to get my knife in there now and cut that. This is actually the bit I'm most nervous about. We'll see how we go. So as I cut the mastic, you can see if I put a chisel in here, I can actually start to separate the window from the frame. So now in order to get the glass out of the frame itself, I need to be able to firstly slide the panels in towards the middle, and I need to take out this middle support bar, and then it should just be a matter of prying the frame back a little bit and pulling the glass panels out. So now before I can slide the panels in, I need to remove these little stoppers that are in the frame here that are stopping the windows from sliding. So there's one there, and I'm not sure if you can see because it's on the inside. It's a bit hard to see, but there's actually another one on the inside of the frame. And if you look down underneath, you can see these screws. So these two screws here are actually what's holding in that little stopper on this side. So I'm going to take them out, and same with this one here. And then these two here are actually what's holding this support bar in place. So I'm going to undo these screws here, all of them, and I should be able to get those little stoppers out. And then if I come around the top of the window, there's a couple more screws you can see here, so I'll undo them, and then that support bar should just pull out. underneath the frames obviously needs a really good clean too. Spider webs. There's actually a dead spider under that one. So what I need to do now is get the rest of this mastic off. So pull all that off and then give the frame a really good clean. And I'm actually going to paint some rust prevention around the edges here, especially up the top where I had those rusty clips as well. So I'll treat all of that before I put the windows back in. Well, I'm pretty happy with that. I managed to get one window out without breaking anything, so that's a good start. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing pretty much for all the rest of the windows that are this size. And once they're all out, I can go ahead and clean up the frames, clean the windows themselves, put the new seals in, and then put the windows back in. While I've got the glass out of the frames, I'm actually also going to have a crack at tinting the windows. I have no idea if that's going to work or not, but that's a story for another video.